Welcome back, my dear students. This is Mahmoud Sultanaki, Senior Lecturer of Master College, Department of Biology. Today, I discuss nervous system. This is from chapter 10 from a textbook. The name of this chapter is coordination. From my today's lecture, you will be able to define the nervous system, brain, cerebrum, pons, medulla oblongata, cerebellum. You will also be able to explain the structure of brain, that means different parts of the brain and their functions. Moreover, you will also be able to explain the structure and function of neuron. Now, the definition of nervous system. The system that coordinates with different organs and systems, that carries impulse to different parts of the body and maintain a relationship with the environment by responding to stimuli is called nervous system. The nervous system is divided into two parts: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is divided into again two parts, that is brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system is divided into cranial spinal nerves and autonomic nervous system. Cranial spinal nerves is again divided into two parts. One is cranial nerves, another one is spinal nerves. Now, the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is again divided into two parts, that is sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves. Now, we will discuss about the central nervous system, that means especially the structure of brain. First of all, the definition of brain. What is brain? You can see that in this diagram, this is the human brain. Okay, first of all, the definition. Brain, the swollen part of the nervous system that remains at the top of the spinal cord. You can see here that this is the spinal cord. Okay, this is the spinal cord, and at the top of the spinal cord, here is the brain. So, the swollen part of the nervous system that remains at the top of the spinal cord and inside the skull. This is the skull. You can see that here is this is the outer covering, that is skull. It is surrounded by or covered, or it remains inside the skull. So, this is the brain. Now, the structure of brain. A brain has three parts: the forebrain or prosencephalon, the midbrain or mesencephalon, the hindbrain or rhombencephalon. First of all, we will discuss the forebrain or prosencephalon. From the diagram, you can see that the forebrain consists of cerebrum, corpus callosum, thalamus, and hypothalamus. Now, I want to explain the forebrain. The largest part of the brain is cerebrum, and that consists of two completely divided lobes. These two completely divided lobes are known as right lobe and the left lobe. They are separated by a deep furrow. These are known as cerebral hemisphere. Though there is a deep furrow in between the left and the right lobes, that means in between the two lobes, they are still connected by a bunch of nerves. This is called corpus callosum. This green part in the diagram, it indicates corpus callosum. Now, the right hemisphere controls the body movement or limb movements of the left side of the body, and the left hemisphere controls the limb movement of the right side of the body. This part of the brain, that means the forebrain, has folded and wrinkled surface. It is covered by a thin membrane called meninges. That means there is a membrane around the brain that is called meninges. The left lobe of the brain is comparatively well developed, and the cerebrum is called the forebrain. The exterior surface of the cerebrum is called cortex, which is composed of numerous nerves. This cortex is, the outer surface of the cortex is gray in color. That is why it is known as gray matter. The deeper layer of the cerebrum consists of axon and of neurons, which is covered by white color myelin, and it is situated in the depth of the cerebral cortex. So this is the structure of forebrain or prosencephalon. Now the function of cerebrum. It receives nerve impulse and send responses to the various organs of the body. Second, it is the center for body movement, that is, for every activity and sensation. Number 3, conscious activities, that is speech, vision, hearing, intelligence, memory, thinking, will, and activities of voluntary muscles are controlled by the cerebrum. It also helps in taking decision and in responding to stimuli. Now students, I am writing in this pattern, that means in point wise the answer of the questions, so that you can memorize the questions so easily. When you will memorize the answer of any question in point wise, you can remember those points more easily and you will get a better marks. Okay, so try to memorize in that pattern that I have written on the board. Now the structure of midbrain or mesencephalon. In this diagram you can see this is the midbrain. You also have noticed that I have indicated the parts of forebrain by blue color. The midbrain is also indicated by blue color and the hindbrain also indicated by blue color. So all these parts belong to forebrain. This portion is the midbrain and the last parts belong to hindbrain. Now the structure of midbrain. The upper part of the hindbrain is the midbrain. So if this is the hindbrain, these are the parts of hindbrain, then it is midbrain is situated at the upper part of the hindbrain, and it is a bridge between the forebrain and the hindbrain. Now the function of midbrain. It coordinates the activities of various muscles and maintain the balance. And the second function is it also plays an important role in vision and hearing. Now the structure of hindbrain or rhomencephalon. Hindbrain or rhomencephalon is divided into 3 parts: the cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. In the diagram you can see that the 3 parts of hindbrain. This red portion of the brain is indicated, that indicates cerebellum. The white portion indicates the pons, and this white portion also indicates medulla oblongata. So all these 3 parts of the brain consist or composed the hindbrain. Now the structure. Cerebellum. Cerebellum is located at the back part of the pons. From the diagram you can see that if this is the pons, then at the back part of the pons there is cerebellum. It is divided also into right and left lobes. Its outer part consists of gray matter and the inner part consists of white matter. Now the function of cerebellum. It controls the muscle stress, coordinates movement, balance, and also controls the voluntary activities of voluntary muscles. The next part is pons. The pons is located in between the medulla oblongata and the midbrain. If this is the midbrain and this portion is known as medulla oblongata, the middle portion of the midbrain and the medulla oblongata is pons. Now the last part, and this pons is composed of a bunch of nerves. Now the last part is medulla oblongata. This is the most posterior part of the brain. Okay, in the diagram you can see that this is the brain and this is the last part of the brain. This is medulla oblongata. This is the most posterior part of the brain. Its front part is connected to the pons and the back part is connected to the spinal cord. In the diagram you can see that this is pons. So medulla oblongata is connected the front part of the medulla oblongata is connected with the pons, and the back part that is connected with the spinal cord. Okay, this spinal cord is surrounded by vertebral column. So, my dear students, this is the structure of brain. In this structure, I have discussed all the parts of brain and their functions. My dear students, now I will discuss the structure of neuron. Before this, I would like to define the definition of nervous tissue. The tissue that comprises of neurons, actually it is called nervous tissue. But according to your book, the tissue that can receive stimulus from the environment and accordingly make an appropriate response is called nervous tissue. Nervous tissue comprises of many neurons or nerve cells. So, neuron is the basic unit of nervous system. Neuron is made up of two parts. One is cell body, another one is elongated part. The structure of cell body. Cell body, the part of the neuron which contains a nucleus and cytoplasm. It also contains mitochondria, Golgi bodies, but it does not contain any kind of active centriole. That is why neuron cannot divide. Before explaining the structure of neuron, I would like to draw the diagram of neuron. You can practice the diagram as I draw on the board. Now I will draw the diagram. Okay. Now follow how I draw the diagram. Okay. First of all, you will draw the cell body. It is maybe round shape, star shaped, or oval shape. So you will draw a star shaped structure like this. Okay, this is the cell body. Then I will draw the elongated part. You can draw the diagram with the help of a scale. So, from this portion, you can draw a straight line with the help of a scale. You will draw also two parallel lines along with this. Then you will divide these other two lines into 2 or 3 segments like this. Then you can erase these lines from here. Okay, you can draw the diagram in this pattern. Now the dendrons or dendrites. Dendrites are branched. So these dendrons or dendrites are branched. These are the elongated part. This is also elongated part. But this elongated part is unbranched and it is called axon. And this is the cell body. And you know, the part of neuron which contain nucleus and cytoplasm and remain bounded by plasma membrane. This cell body is remain bounded by the help of this or with the help of this plasma membrane. It may be round, oval or star shaped. Okay, so this is called cell body. Now I will draw the nucleus. So this is the cytoplasm. This is the nucleus, dendrites, these are known as swan cell. You can draw these cells or mention here. These are the swan cells. Okay. The unbranched part that originates from the cell body is called elongated part, that is called axon. But the outer covering of the axon is called, there is a covering around the axon that is called neurolemma. And you can see that there is a gap, or this gap is covered by a fatty layers that is called myelin sheath. So here the myelin sheath are present. Myelin sheath, and you can see that the myelin sheath is not a continuous layer. After a certain interval, the neurolemma is connected with the axon, main axis of axon. This gap is called node of Ranvier. Okay, these are the terminal ends of the neuron. Now figure. These are also known as terminal buttons, as it is mentioned in your book. Okay. Now, I will explain the structure, cell body. As I have mentioned it is the structure of cell body earlier. So the cytoplasm contains, I have told you, the cytoplasm contains mitochondria, Golgi bodies, lysosome, fat, glycogen, micelles, granule, but there is no active centriole in the cell body, though it is an animal cell. Hence, there is no active centriole. That is why the neuron cannot divide. Okay. The next portion is elongated part. What is elongated part? A variable number of nerve fibers extends from the cell body, just like this. From the cell body, variable number of dendrites, elongated part. These are the branched part, and this is the unbranched part. Elongated, which are called elongated part. Elongated part is of two types. One is dendrite, and another one is axon. Now, dendron. What is dendron? There are some small branched or elongation around the cell body is called dendron. Actually, dendron is a plural form of dendrites. The branches coming out from the dendron are called dendrites. So the branch that are originated from the dendron is called dendrites. Okay. What are the functions of dendrites? Dendrites receive stimuli from the other nerves. Okay. So here you can see these are the dendrites. Okay. Then axon. A long extension originates from the cell body is called axon. So from here up to this, it is known as axon. Okay, students. A thin layer encloses the axon. As I have told you that there is a thin layer around the axon. This is called neurolemma. Okay. The enclosed axon is called neurolemma. And there is a fatty layer between the neurolemma and the main axis of axon. This is the main axis of axon. There is a fatty layers. So these fatty layers that is present actually in this gap. Okay, so in this gap, the fatty layers are present. This fatty layer is called, or it is known as myelin sheath. So what is between here? There is a fatty layer between the neurolemma and the axon. This is called myelin sheath. Then, as I have told you earlier, that the myelin sheath is not continuous layer. it is actually interrupted after a certain interval. This uncovered part is known as the neuropharyngeal. The neurulema is not continuous. Generally, it is interrupted at regular intervals. There is a direct connection of neurulema and axon at the interrupted part. This uncovered part is known as node of Ranvier. The membrane which covers the main axis of axon is called axonema. Now, most of the students cannot understand which membrane is called axonema. I am indicating axonema with this blue pen. Okay, this is the main axis of axon. So, this axon is surrounded by a membrane. This membrane of the covering of this axis is called axonema. Okay. Then the end part of the axon is divided into axon terminals. This is the end part of the axon, and these are known as axon terminals. Now, what is the function of axon or axon terminals? These terminals send impulse to the dendrite of other neurons. So the neurons are arranged one after another. So if you consider that here is another axon of another, the cell body of another neuron is present, then these axon terminals, these send the response or impulse. It sends the impulse to the dendrites of the next neuron. Okay. Now, an important definition, that is synapse. What is synapse? Now, the definition of synapse: the terminal end of one neuron does not join directly with the dendrites of another neuron. The junction in between two neurons is called synapse. So, my dear students, in my today's class, I have discussed the structure of what is brain, the structure of brain, that means the structure of different parts of brain and their functions. I have also explained the structure of neuron and how to draw the diagram of a neuron and their function. I have also discussed the different definitions such as brain, nervous tissue, neuron, pons, medulla oblongata, all these. In my next class, I will be back with a new lesson. Till then, take care.